Hey, good afternoon. Glad to be with you. Coming here live from the Commissioner's office. Appreciate you joining us today. We're trying to use some technology here since we're having to continue to do our social distancing. So thank you for tuning in to this live event. Got several things we want to share with you today. We have heard from our governor about how he's wanting to start getting our economy and our businesses back open, and we're going to make some modifications to start ramping up our county government operations. So we will be publishing a full list of all of our departments in Walker County here on our Facebook page and our website, but just a few of these that I wanted to bring your attention to, some of our most heavily used entities in our county and where we've had some enhancements or changes forthcoming. Starting tomorrow, our animal control not only will be responding to dog bite cases as they've done, they will also start picking up stray animals. So if there's stray animals in your community, if you've got stray dogs running around, we've not been picking those up due to our social distancing. So starting on Friday, we will be doing so. So if you have stray animals in your community, you will need to call 706-375-2100. And that is the animal shelter, and they handle the dispatching for our animal control. And so they'll be happy to create a work order and start picking up the stray animals. Also, the animal shelter will remain closed to the public. We will not be receiving any owner surrenders, and we're not going to be doing any adoptions out of the shelter at this time. So we want to keep our shelter staff as healthy as we possibly can, keep them socially distanced, so we can have the staff and everyone there available and able to take care of the animals that we do have in our custody that we're caring for, trying to find them places to go with rescues across the country. Also, our code enforcement, we've had several questions and people calling and with code enforcement issues. Code enforcement will be suspended up until Monday, May the 4th. So Monday, May the 4th, code enforcement will get started back up, and we'll be responding to those calls. Also, here at the Commissioner's office, we've been here the whole time through the COVID-19 virus on a limited staff. We will continue that here. And so if you need to interact with us, we prefer that you reach out to us by phone or by email or U.S. mail. The phone number here at the Commissioner's office is 706-638-1437. Be happy to talk to you. And we are here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Someone will answer the phone. Also, our landfill operation, we are in full swing out there with our municipal solid waste. So we're still continuing to take your household waste Monday through Saturday. And then the brush area, where if you have tree limbs, brush, stumps, logs, these type things, that is now also back open 6 days a week. We opened that back up right after the tornadoes that come through on Easter. And so our MSW and our brush is open daily. We still have a limited schedule at our C&D, or it's known, or the construction demolition site, where we actually bury trash on site. So if you have any C or D material, we are still limiting that to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So again, C&D, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday only. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them at the landfill at 706-375-8910. Also, our litter control team, we will get them back up and operational on Monday, May the 4th. So we're still another week or so out on our litter control, so you'll be seeing our litter control van back running on Monday, May the 4th. Our vehicle maintenance facility, our shop there off of Industrial Drive, will be fully operational this coming Monday on April the 27th. So those teams will be back working there at our maintenance shop on Monday the 27th to maintain all of the county vehicles and equipment. Also, one additional change at our tax commissioner's office, and working with Tax Commissioner Carolyn Walker, she will start opening up the drive-through at the Rock Springs location only, and that will start on Monday next week on the 27th of April at the Rock Springs location. So if you have any questions or issues, you can reach the tax commissioner at 706-638-2929. You can reach the tax commissioner's office. Also, the last item here that I'm going to highlight is our transit. Our transit workers have been phenomenal. They have continued to keep our transit running and operational. And so we will have transit in full operation. I know a lot of the doctor's offices and hospitals and things will start doing more services. And so we want to make sure that we're fully operational with our transit on Monday, April the 27th. So if you need a ride on transit, the number there to call would be 706-375-0803. So 706-375-0803 for our transit operation. They would be happy to set you up a transit ride if you need one. Also, we have the testing that is going on currently at the Walker County Civic Center. This is where the health department has come in and set up shop for the next couple of weeks to be doing testing for the COVID-19 virus. And so you'll need to call in advance to get an appointment, and they'll issue you a registration number. And I thought, oh, here we go. I do have that here with me today. The phone number for that, if you want to call ahead, you'll need to call ahead. It's 706-802-5329. Again, that's 706-802-5329 is the phone number that you can call the health department in Atlanta, and they will do a pre-screen on you, getting your information, get you into their database, and give you a ID number. So when you go with your time slot to the Walker County Civic Center, they will be able to serve you. And this is the nasal swab test that they're doing there. So it will take a few days for them to send that test off and get it back and get you the results. And those results are kept confidential. We don't get that information here at the commissioner's office. That information is between you and your medical providers. But it's very important if you are showing signs and symptoms of having possibly the COVID-19, they want to get you tested. So again, you can reach out at 706-802-5329 for that. And you don't have to be a Walker County resident. So many of you that are watching this on Facebook, if you live anywhere in Georgia, you could be visiting here from another area in Georgia. As long as you're a Georgia resident, it's my understanding, they will take and be able to serve you by calling that number. And so they just wanted to use the Walker County Civic Center campus because it's centrally located. It's there on the main Highway 27 in the Rock Springs community, and easy to find. A lot of people have been to that facility and know where that is. And so they will take good care of you there. One thing too, I wanted to give a shout out to our Public Works Department. Carlin Bauer and his team have done a phenomenal job through the tornado season, and they have worked very hard. We had a lot of trees down, hundreds and hundreds of trees down blocking roads. We had to do a lot of work on our road infrastructure. We've had a lot of storm damage to a lot of our drain tiles, and so they've done a phenomenal job, and just keep them in your prayers. I know we've got this storm system coming this afternoon. I think it's supposed to hit us around 4 or 5 o'clock, and they're predicting wind as much as about 60 miles an hour from what I last heard this morning. So sure, we're going to have probably some more trees down. So if you do see trees that are down in your community that are blocking roads, we need you to report those. And you can report those to our 911 center by using the non-emergency number. If it's just a tree down, you can just call 706-375-7810. Again, that's 706-375-7810 is the non-emergency for our 911 center, and you can report those trees down that are blocking the road. And let them know if it's got the road completely blocked, one lane, or what the situation is, and they will dispatch the Public Works Department, or sometimes they will also dispatch the fire department. Our fire department has chainsaws on their trucks, and they're prepared to also respond. And both Public Works and our fire department both done a phenomenal job through the tornado crisis, and I know we've gotten a lot of compliments from you out there in the community about their response and their hard work, and them jumping in when everyone else was sheltering in place. They were there on the front lines and going door to door and climbing over trees and opening roads back up from trees being down. And so our hats off to our fire department and our public works. They've done a phenomenal job. Also being supported, you couldn't do it without the 911 center. So our team at the 911 center is incredible as well. And we are so thankful for these folks being able to serve as public servants with us in the community. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you, I've got some exciting news here, and I wanted to read this to you so I didn't leave anything out. But while we continue our focus on reducing the crippling debt, paving roads, and building a solid foundation of infrastructure for our county, the reduction in debt service burden has allowed us to begin making modest investments in our public safety. As I have recently shared, we have been able to fully fund the sheriff's budget for the first time in at least 24 years. The 2020 budget was the first fully funded budget that Sheriff Steve Wilson has ever received from the Commissioner's Office from any commissioner. This upcoming SPLOSH project list is weighted very heavily towards public safety initiatives and public works projects that will benefit all of us that have the privilege of calling Walker County our home. Last year, there was a record 6,091 calls for service. Again, 6,091 calls for service for the Walker County Fire Department, with 1,025 of those calls being for the Fairview District up on the north end of our county. Firefighters at Station 2 in nearby Flintstone currently handle calls in the Fairview community, in addition to the other calls that they service in the Flintstone District. Today, I'm pleased to announce the first of what we hope to be many such initiatives into the public health and safety. We have had a need for a full-time staffed fire station in the northern Walker County community for a long time. Adding full-time firefighters at the Fairview Station on Jenkins Road will help improve response times while addressing increased demands for services in our most populated communities. Starting on Thursday, August the 20th, 2020, Station 7 in the Fairview community will be a fully functional, full-time, 24/7, 365 operation, which will include a quick response vehicle to respond to medical calls as well. Currently, Station 7 has been listed as a volunteer station, but regretfully did not have anyone serving as a volunteer at that station. In order to staff Station 7 and to fill a number of open positions, Walker County Fire and Rescue will hold a recruitment class this coming June. Applications are currently being accepted on the county's website at walkercountyga.gov/jobs with an S on the end. So again, that's walkercountyga.gov/jobs. We look forward to announcing other such public health and safety initiatives in the coming weeks ahead and into 2021. While our shared sacrifice and disciplines and our community getting our financial house in order has not been easy to endure, it has been absolutely necessary, and together we have made significant, meaningful progress. I am humbled and honored to have been given the opportunity to lead this talented team of public servants and to work alongside you, our amazing community contributors, through the first phase of our journey together. In closing, I have never been more optimistic about our future, and I look forward to many exciting announcements and shared benefits as we turn yet another page in our journey. So we're very excited again to announce that our Station 7 in Fairview, who's been somewhat shuttered for some time now, we're going to take and transform that operation into a 24/7, 365, fully functional operation for our fire rescue and quick response vehicles. So we've got open positions. So if you know someone that would like to join our team and our fire and rescue department here in Walker County, you can go to the website and submit your application. And we have a recruit training class that will be starting up in June of this year. So the team will welcome those new members and we'll get them properly trained and get them certified as firefighters. And we will be doing a ribbon cutting and a launch for that department in August. And we're very excited about being able to announce this to you today because there's a heavy need for this in the northern part of our county. And we want to be able to provide a quicker response of service and to put more boots on the ground and to bring you value for the tax dollars that you invest into Walker County so we can move things forward. So this time we're going to take some Facebook Live questions, and so I've got Joe Legee here working with me today because, as you know, on Facebook things scroll and it's hard to keep up. So Joe's passing these questions to me. And so we've got the first question here. When does our Public Works and Road Department return to the regular schedule? Well, our road department, or Public Works, actually is already back working full-time and then some. They've put in a lot of hours here recently, so they are already back to working full-time. And then our also the maintenance shop, as we mentioned earlier, that works on all of our heavy equipment and all of our vehicles, they will be fully operational this coming Monday, April the 27th. Those guys will be returning to duty. Also, we have a question here. Are the increase in cases due to more testing? I would say yes. We have the additional testing here from the health department, and also many of the medical facilities are doing testing. Also, as one example, the Ready Clinic here in Lafayette, they also have, which is their newest location, and they have a location in Flintstone and also in Ringo, have also been doing the quicker antibody test, which is a blood draw test that they do where they can give you an answer in about 15 minutes if you're positive or negative for the COVID virus, and if you have already built up antibodies to fight that off. And so I'm sure that's definitely driving the numbers. I know our numbers here in Walker County have jumped up very quickly. It seems like, I think the first week we were at about 15 cases, and then it jumped to like 35, and now I know as of last night we were at 59 cases in Walker County. I know Catoosa County's jumped up to 45 cases. So we do have a lot of people in our community that is dealing with this virus. I felt like our case numbers were low for quite some time, and I think that was due to not having the testing availability in our area, and those original tests were going toward the medical field and first responders and people that were extreme high risk. But now that the testing is expanding out more to the masses, I think we're going to see these numbers jump up rather quickly. I know the governor has made the announcement that starting tomorrow, being Friday, that barbershops, beauty salons, hair salons, tattoo parlors all be able to start opening back up. I know they will have some very stringent guidelines to be following that's being put out by their trade organization and in conjunction with the state. And so they will be taking extra precautions. And so reach out to your hairstylist, and I'm sure they'll want to probably bring you in by an appointment, so they are limiting the number of people in the facility at one time. And also, probably most exciting for most is the availability of in-dining back in restaurants. And I know the governor's supposed to be releasing some guidelines by tomorrow to give further instructions to restaurants for in-dining. Not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but I'm sure there's going to be modifications that are made when we go into restaurants. It wouldn't surprise me if we have our temperature checked when we go in the door into a restaurant. I'm sure they'll probably be spacing the seating out more. So I'm sure there's going to be some pretty noticeable, drastic modifications in order to get the restaurants back open. I know we can all sit back and we can armchair the decisions that our elected leaders are making at the state and at the federal level, but they've got a lot of information. They have people advising them. They've got big decisions to make, and so we need to continue to pray and support our state and federal leaders that they are making the right decisions on our behalf. I know that only time will tell, and I know not every state is going to be on the same page. Not every state will make the same decisions, and we'll be able to look back 2 or 3 years from now and know who made the best decisions and whose decisions could have been done a little differently. That's going to happen. And so we don't need to get caught up with pointing fingers or making those judgments. If you feel like that you're at high risk or you want to minimize your risk, shelter in place. Stay out of the public. Take these precautions that you've been doing. Just because the restaurants are opening up doesn't mean we have to go and visit them right away if we don't feel safe. We can still do takeout, to-go orders, and drive-through, and those type of things. So everyone needs to still take this virus extremely serious. This virus is not over, and it's going to be here with us for some time until they can get the medicine research complete and hopefully get a vaccination out so we can all be safe from this. But until then, it's going to still be with us for some time. Okay, some more questions coming in. We appreciate y'all throwing these questions at us. Can we legally get the number of the Walker County citizens that have been tested? Can we legally get a number of the Walker County citizens that have been tested? That's a good question. I know they give us the number of cases and the number of any deaths, which thankfully we've not had any deaths. But as far as the number that have been tested, that gets provided into the state, into their total number, but they have not broken that out for us at the county level. So we'll reach out and see if that's something that they can get for us for that information. Next question here is, do we need symptoms to get tested? Do you have to be showing symptoms to be tested? I know that if you go to a medical facility and you're paying for the service, especially the antibody test, it's a modest charge that they do imply, and you do not have to be showing symptoms currently, because sometimes people can be a carrier. As far as the health department, I think in their screening process, unless you're considered high risk or some special circumstances, they may not test you if you're not showing symptoms at this time. And some of that may determine how many tests they have available and what their schedules look like. But I know if you go to the medical clinics, and please call ahead first. That's another thing I want to express with you today. Before you go to any medical facility, whether it be a doctor's office, emergency room, dentist office, anything, they want you to call ahead first. But most of them are going to have their doors locked. You're not going to be able to get in without calling ahead, because they need to be able to triage you by phone or by video chat to understand what your medical condition is. And if you are showing signs and symptoms of the COVID-19 virus, they want to be able to be prepared when you get there and tell you what door to come in, and they will have their protective gear on and these type of things. So do not go to any medical facility without calling ahead first. Had one of our employees this week notified me that he wasn't feeling well, running a fever, thought he needed to be tested. I said, before you go, call the clinic, don't just show up. And they actually did a video conference with him over his smartphone and triaged and asked him a lot of questions, and they did bring him in and actually did some testing and determined he had strep throat. And so he notified me back and said, "Hey boss, I've got strep throat." And I said, "Thank goodness, that's a good thing to have in this day and time." I know used to, if you had strep throat, that was something we thought was just horrible. But in this day and time with the COVID virus, having strep throat's not a bad thing to have to deal with. It's a lot better than the alternative. Next question here is, does the governor's announcement this week mean we are getting back to normal? Don't think I would take it quite that far. I think we are working towards that. You're still going to see a lot of businesses that have their doors locked, trying to do as much through the internet, through phones. I think you're going to see, again, quite a bit of modifications even with restaurants. I know here in our local government, and also speaking to some of the other governments, it's going to be a slow, gradual rollout, because we are anticipating with the increased testing, we're going to see increased numbers. And so this virus is the invisible enemy, as it has been labeled, and I think that is the best label you can put on it. It is the invisible enemy. It's very, very highly contagious, and we are all vulnerable to this. And so we do not want you to take this as everything's back to normal. You still need to take great precautions. Seeing more and more people when they go into public, especially to grocery stores and things, wearing masks. I know I did this weekend, had to make a trip to the grocery store, and I wore a mask in the whole time. So we've got to continue to take those precautions. Okay, it says, why can't we follow the lead of Hamilton County, Chattanooga, and refuse to follow the governor's opening of the state? That's a great question, and I think there's some of the differences we're going to see across the entire country is everybody's doing something a little different, it seems. And so back a few weeks ago here in April, when the governor stepped in and did his executive order, that superseded everything that all the counties and all the cities in Georgia had done. And it had become quite confusing for many citizens, and especially people traveling through the area, because they would go, say, down I-75 and stop in, say, Catoosa County or Dalton, and there's one set of regulations. They get to Marietta, there's another set of regulations. They get to Augusta or somewhere, and it's totally different. And so the governor made the decision that at that point he needed to step in and get everyone on the same page when it come to what needed to be implemented. So his order, again, superseded everything that any local government was doing. And it also stated in that order that we could not add anything to that order, nor could we take anything away from that order. So that still stands. So the governor is calling the shots, and he is controlling the task force team for the entire state. And we're going to have to follow his lead and support his decisions. And again, he's got some tough calls here to make. But things are going to ramp up slowly. They feel pretty confident that they've got the capacity to monitor this and to ramp up the testing, and we're going to have to support that decision. And I know even in Chattanooga, the city of Chattanooga is doing something totally different than Hamilton County and East Ridge is doing. So it's going to be all over the board, and it's going to be quite challenging really to probably keep up with what's taking place in different areas. But at least in Georgia, everything's going to be consistent, and so I think that's going to be a benefit that we'll find long term versus maybe the way some things are going with our friends on the other side of the state line, where it seems like it's kind of differing from community to community. What precautions is Walker County taking for the opening of the state? Here at the county government level, we are still taking a lot of precautions to protect our people. You know, one of the decisions that we made as a team early on was to protect our public works folks. You know, when we sent those team members to home to shelter in place very early on, and I know some people kind of raise their eyebrow. You know, these guys, work outside a lot. Why are you sending them home to shelter in place? And I told them and made the statement that we need those guys to be healthy and we need them to be protected. Because who knows, we might get a tornado or a flood. Did I not know that we were going to get both at the same time, the tornado and the flood? And so at least we had that team at home on standby, ready to go. And I think they worked till about 4:30 in the morning, went home and got a few hours of sleep. And most of them, I think, were back out by about 9 or 9:30 the next morning, and they've not stopped since. So we are still limiting access to the buildings. Again, the tax commissioner is going to have drive-through service in Rock Springs. The court system still stays as it is my understanding, which those decisions are made by judges throughout our state. And the sheriff's office is still has limits to visitors for someone that's wants to visit someone that's incarcerated at the sheriff's office. So we're doing a lot of those things as a government to keep everybody safe and to not spread the virus. Okay, can you tell us why the data on the COVID-19 doesn't include how many have been recovered? That's a great question. I wish we knew that. I think it would be great if we could be able to determine how many has recovered, because like right now we have 59 reported cases in Georgia, and we don't know if all 59 of them are still sick or if only 1 or 2 are sick. And I know that limited information makes it very difficult for people to make good decisions. So I'm hoping over time that maybe some of that information will get better for us, and we'll be able to have access to more detailed information. I know the health department on their website, it seems like every week or two they're adding more data and more information that we can see publicly. And so they do update the website at 12 o'clock and 7 p.m. every day. All right, are we following Kemp? Are the open production plants being randomly tested? If not, why not? Yes, we do have to follow the governor's lead. The governor's executive order superseded everything that's any local government's doing. I know that all of our industries, we've been in constant contact with them. We've been very impressed with how the industries here in Walker County took the COVID-19 virus very serious very early on and started making adjustments for their staff members. Because we've seen in some of these other states, when a virus gets inside a plant, it can be, a bad situation, and hundreds of people, get the virus and they end up having to shut the plant down completely. So these industries are very forward thinking and have gotten very creative of how to protect their employees. And so I know that have a lot of confidence in all of our industries here and everything that they've shared with us that they're doing to protect their people, because that's the key to their operation. They got to have good, healthy people, and if the virus breaks out into their plant, it's devastating to them. It can completely shut down their operation. So I feel that a lot of times these people working in industry, you're much safer there than you probably are going to Walmart, because I know these industries have put in protocols and are very strict in making sure everyone's following the safety guidelines. So I would say at all of these industrial plants, you're safer there than you are walking into the Walmart. Okay, any news on Nickajack Road? Our biggest problem there is the rain. Nickajack Road is still down to one lane, but until we can get some dry weather and some of that can dry out, we would just have a muddy mess up there right now. So we've got to get into some better weather because we only want to have to fix that project one time. And so during the storm, we had several roads that were completely closed, and the last one of those roads that was opened back up yesterday by our Public Works team was Lake Howard Road. I went by there today, and the guys just did an incredible job. We've still got to go back and do some additional work, but they've got it open back up. We're going to make sure everything's compacted real well. We're going to be adding some head walls to those tiles, and also additional riffraff to keep that from washing out again in the future. And also, once we make sure everything's compacted well, to go back and repave that section of the road. So you're going to continue to see activity in that area and other areas where we've had drain tile issues and culvert replacements and upgrades. So we will be continuing to work on those. Our libraries, yes, libraries opening. I talked to Lisa Eubanks, our library director, and they will start opening up next week. I think too, they're going to start out with a limited schedule, make sure that they have all of their safety in place, make sure they have plenty of supplies and everything that they need to do. So I know they're going to gradually start opening up the 3 libraries here in Walker County next week. So I would recommend that you turn to their website or Facebook page, or call them to get the details. Or if we can get those that information, we will pass that along to you as well. But I know when I was talking to her yesterday, they were still working through those details and figuring out what their staff schedule was. But Lisa did tell me that they are going to start a phase-in opening at all 3 of the libraries in Walker County. All right, the Hogjaw Road opening. Yes, very excited about Hogjaw. They just about got the bridge work finished, and once they get the bridge work finished, we're going to get that road paved. That road's gotten in very bad shape. There's a lot of base work problems there. Again, some of this is weather dependent, but once they've got one more layer of asphalt to put onto Old Bethel Road, they've had to pull off for a few days to work on another job that they had a timeline on, but they've done a tremendous amount of work on Old Bethel Road. They've got one more layer to go, which will take them probably 3 or 4 days, maybe a week's worth of work to get that done. And best to my knowledge, they're going to be moving to Hogjaw next, and we'll get the bridge open and get that road back in great shape and get it paved and all the way from start to finish. So It's probably going to be, several weeks before all of that gets done, because that's going to be a pretty massive project. On hog jaw, there's a lot of base deterioration, so we've got to do a lot of deep patching. If I remember correctly, hog jaw is about 11 miles long, so it's going to be a big project for Tally Construction. They do fabulous work and have great team members. Very excited about getting hog jaw done this year. They've already completed Long Hollow Road. Had a positive compliment about that today. A gentleman called me and thanked me for the quality of work and getting Long Hollow Road done. Chattanooga Valley Road's been completed this year. We got West Smith Road done, and we got Dry Valley Road completed, and we got half of Happy Valley Road completed. So we have not done the north side of Happy Valley Road. We still have a turn lane and deceleration lane that we're going to put there in front of Stone Creek Elementary there in Fairview community, up there in the Rossville Fairview community. And so we've got that in the works. Once we get that in place, then we're going to move forward with getting that road paved as well. Okay, also candidate running for the chair post of Walker County. Chair post that Walker County Development Board loan. Shaw $35 million expansion includes no jobs added, but does not use a taxpayer fund. Thank you, Joe. Okay, I think I understand the question here. What's being asked here is there was a $35 million conduit bond that was done for Shaw Industries in Chickamauga. Shaw Industry is retooling that operation, and they needed to make a large capital improvement into the Shaw facility. Also, for those of you that may not know, Shaw Industries a few years ago was purchased outright by Berkshire Hathaway Investment Group, which the founding and principal member of that, as y'all know, is Warren Buffett. So that's a very solid financially backed company, and so they wanted to retool that plant. And so yes, they were not promising any additional new jobs, but we were working with them to save the jobs that were there. That plan is very important to our community. It's very important to the Chickamauga school system and also to the city of Chickamauga, and it employs a lot of people. And that facility is over 1 million square foot facility, and it's a very vital part of our economy here in Walker County. So they approached the Walker County Development Authority wanting to do this bond that would be facilitated through the Development Authority, which has to be done in cooperation with the Chickamauga School Board, also the Chickamauga City Council, also the Walker County Commissioner's Office. And so all of these government entities worked together, worked with Shaw's Legal Counsel. We also worked with our bond attorney out of Atlanta that we work with. This was all done in public meetings. We videoed those meetings here that we had for the commissioners' meeting portion of that. All of this was done the proper way. Also, when you do one of these conduit bonds for an industry, part of the requirement is that you have to go before the Superior Court and validate to a Superior Court judge that the local government has followed all of the proper procedures. The local judge is not going to get into the details of how much the bond is, or if they've got a good credit rating, or any of those type details. What the judge is doing is looking for the technical side of it to make sure that you, the citizens, have been protected, and also make sure that it's fully disclosed if the taxpayers are taking any risk or taking any portion of this debt on. And so they go through all of those type steps. And so this particular bond, the Walker County government is taking on none of this debt. This debt is 100% for Shaw Industries. It's backed 100% by Shaw Industries. So the Development Authority, nor the county government, nor the city of Chickamauga, nor the city school board, no one is taking on any liability at all. So if Shaw Industries decides they're not going to pay the bond and they're just going to completely walk away from it, whoever the bondholders are, those bonds were sold in the public market. Whoever owns those bonds are the ones holding the bag. And so there's not any liability and there's not any debt on our balance sheet for that because we owe none of that debt. And so that superior court process is very important. And, many people don't attend those. Those notices do get properly posted in the paper, and it is advertised. And actually, I think this last one, Perry Lamb was the only one that showed up, and I know he spent quite a bit of time after that with the county attorney at that time, Matt Williamson, did a phenomenal job meeting with Perry, talking with him, explaining to him all the details of that so he would fully understand that. So, but from memory, I think Matt was telling me that was the only person that was present for that hearing was Perry Lamb. So it's a great question, but we see those quite common across the state to do those conduit lending. It's been done here in Walker County by several other industries over the years. It's a very common practice to give them a vehicle to less expensive funding into the marketplace, but again, it brings on no liability, no payments. Once that's all done, the payments, none of that comes through the county or the cities or anything. It's 100% directly with the bond companies. Okay, we got a question here. Will the Chickamauga battlefield open? We do not know that yet. I would say at this time they will still be closed because that is handled by the federal government through the National Park Service. And so we have no information on that. And Joe's indicated that he'll keep an eye on that so we'll know when that comes up. But we have no information of that. With the job openings back up, can you tell us what cutoffs on utilities will be due to most of the struggling just to get by? So the question is, about utility cutoffs. To my knowledge, there's not any utility companies doing any cutoffs right now at all due to the virus. I know there's a lot of people that are struggling. A lot of people are unemployed or partially employed. And so each utility district will make those decisions on their own. But I know as far as the one that I'm directly involved in, being the Walker County Water and Sewer Authority, we've not discussed when we will start doing cutoffs yet because we don't know when the end date of this pandemic is. And so we're just taking that on a month-by-month basis, but I don't see that there's any rush to make that decision to start doing cutoffs. We're trying to work with everybody that we can through the Walker County Water and Sewer Authority. Could we get North Marble Top Road patched the way we did Old Bethel until we can get it paved properly? Yes, I was down North Marble Top the other day. It is getting in bad shape. That's one of our target roads that we've got to get done. And when we go through and do North Marble Top, we will definitely do that deep patching and rebuild the base in the places where it's failing. And I'm very hopeful that in 2020 we'll be able to get North Marble Top Road done. I know there's a lot of residents on that road. That road also gets a lot of traffic, people going to and from the landfill and the animal shelter, so it's a highly trafficked road. So we hope to get that done. Another one that's we're got to do a lot of work this year to get ready for that's in really bad shape is West Cove Road. West Cove Road's got to have quite a bit of work done this year. We've got a couple of major large culverts that are in very bad shape as far as putting a road on them long term. So we've got to do some major culvert replacements, and we're not going to be able to start on that until we get Hogjaw Road open, because there's going to be portions of West Cove Road this summer that we're going to need to block off and set up detours, and a lot of times that detour is going to have to put you over onto Hogjaw, just like now with Hogjaw being closed to the bridge, they're having to come over and use West Cove. And so we can really only have one of those major roads closed at a time. But we really wanted to do West Cove Road this year, but we just didn't have the infrastructure in place with the drain tiles and all that need to be done. and we didn't want to put new pavement down and have to go and start tearing it all back up. But West Cove Road is definitely a high priority for 2021, and you'll see work out there later this year on that road, getting it paved. Okay, Joe's found here that the Interior Secretary David Burkhart tweeted Wednesday that he was committed to working with the governors and the public health officials to gradually reopen our national parks in a safer manner for the American people to once again enjoy. So no timeline has been given on the national parks at this time. So we will keep you posted on that. Also, if all goes as I'm being told, one thing that we're very excited about getting out is the county audit. I'm hoping that we will receive that before the end of the day today. As soon as we get that done, Joe will post that onto the website, and we'll make a post here on Facebook that is ready. They've got everything pulled together. There was just a couple of documents that they were working on. Some of the tech stuff, from my understanding this morning, I was hoping by this time today we would already have it, but Greg told me they still had one last little thing they were doing, the auditors were. So we are very excited about getting the audit out. I know last year it was April 30th before it got out. The year before that it was May 15th, and the year before that it was like in July. So we've gotten faster with it every year. We've gone from July to May 15th to April 30th, and now here we are. I think it's that's the 23rd of April, so hopefully we'll get it out. That'd be about 7 days earlier than last year. So we continue to improve our financial condition of the county. We continue to reduce our debt. The balance sheet's going to show that we've got our debt down, round numbers, about $40 million, down from $70 million that we were at 3 years ago. Currently, this year, so we've paid off quite a bit more since the audit or the close of the fiscal year at the end of September. So from October here into the end of March, we've paid off another over $5 million of the debt. So we now have our debt under $35 million. We have reached the halfway mark of our debt. So if we continue with this discipline, continue on this pace and with this focus, we ought to be able to get out of debt here in just a few years very quickly and have our county 100% out of debt. We will be one of the few counties in the state of Georgia that has no debt. And that's our goal, that's our vision, and that's where we're headed. And all along the ways, we're going to continue to enhance the services here in Walker County, just like we announced today with opening Walker County Fire Station number 7 there in the Fairview community. Coming this August will be a full-time station. So we're going to continue to focus and invest in public safety. We've got some other things that we have in the hopper that we're working on that we will be announcing in the weeks and months to come, but we will let you know about those also through some other Facebook Live events. But public safety is a focus, and reduction of the debt is a great focus. All right, looks like we've got maybe one or two more questions here. Adding to the paving questions, are the plans to pave Dripping Springs Road, Mission Ridge Road, Manning Mill, and West Amerchie? Dripping Springs and Mission Ridge Road, we hope to be able to get those paved in 2021. The West Amerchie, it says in West Amerchie. Those are all in the West Amerchie Valley. This year, East Amerchie Road is getting paved, and we're going to do the deep patching over there as well. So East Amerchie Road from the Chattooga County line all the way to Highway 136 will get paved. And then hopefully a couple of these other roads and Mission Ridge Road up here in the Rossville area, we hope to get it paved as well. What are we going to do with our animal shelter? I see people complaining that they aren't able to pick up strays or handle other animal problems. Starting tomorrow, as we mentioned earlier, our animal control officers will be picking up stray animals. And so if you have stray dogs running around your community, you can call 706-375-2100, and that is at the animal shelter, and they do the dispatching for the animal control officers, and they will start picking up stray dogs tomorrow. So that is part of our gradual opening. So anyway, we've been here about an hour. We appreciate you tuning in. We don't have any other questions at this time, and so we're going to go ahead and sign off. So everyone, stay safe. This COVID-19 virus is still the invisible enemy in our community and in our country. So don't take this lightly. Continue your social distancing. Continue to wash your hands. Continue to take the necessary precautions so we can all push through this together. If there's anything that we can do to help you, please contact us here at the Commissioner's office. But thank you for tuning in to this Facebook Live. Look forward to additional great announcements in the weeks and months to come. And everyone stay safe and be careful with this storm system coming in this evening. Keep a watch on the weather. Also, I would highly recommend, one thing just came to my mind, if you've not signed up for the Siren GPS app, please do that. Download that app on your Apple iTunes or your Google, and go in there and select Walker County as the community so you can get these alerts. When the National Weather Service puts out a weather alert, it automatically pushes that instantly through our Siren GPS, so you will receive that as a text message or email or however you have that set up when you select those options. So please download the Siren GPS app today. It's a free download. It's a free service to you that's paid for with some of our emergency management funds. The county covers the cost for you to be able to utilize that service. Also, from time to time, Joe pushes out other announcements. Just like this weekend, he pushed out an announcement about the COVID-19 testing here in Walker County. So anything that's important, it's going to come through that app to you in seconds. So download the Siren GPS app. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll come back to you real soon. Have a good evening.
The census is about helping your community.
For every person counted in Walker County, $2,300 flows into our community for things like schools, health care, and public works programs.
The census is all about growth.
Real estate developers use the census to decide where to build new homes and revitalize old neighborhoods.
Businesses use census data to decide where to build factories, offices, and stores, which create jobs.
Together, we can help shape the future of Walker County.
Make Walker count. Finish the 2020 census this spring. Got it?